Hey, Drue James here from LearnGuitarInLondon.com, and I'm about to teach you 3 really versatile, popular fingerstyle patterns that I use these in lots and lots of songs, and I think you'll find them really helpful. So let's get started with pattern number 1. Pattern number 1 I call the chill out pattern, and the reason why I call it that is because it's based on one of the most versatile, popular rhythm patterns, which goes down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, miss, up, down, up. And the picking pattern has the same rhythm. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay? So to get started on this, we need to just know a little bit about fingerstyle guitar. Your thumb is in charge of the top 3 strings. That's the E, A, and the D string. Your index finger is in charge of the G. Your middle finger is in charge of the B, and the ring finger is in charge of the E. Now this is based on the classical picking system, and I think it's really helpful to assign your fingers onto these strings just so that once you get it, it's kind of like riding a bike and you sort of always remember where your position is for each string and finger. So, well, you know where your fingers are. So let's start with the first pattern here, where we're playing the thumb on the A string, and the chords I'm using are a C chord for this first chord. So it's A string, then D string, then middle, then index, then thumb on the D, and then index. So that's. Now take your time, look down at your strings on your right hand, and once you get good at it, do it in a circle like this with me. Now this is essential for your rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And then as you get better, just start to speed it up a little bit. Okay, well done you. So that's C, moving on to the G. We're just moving the middle and ring finger up. I mean, if you do your G this way, that's absolutely fine. That's cool. But I just like to move my middle and ring finger up and put my pinky down on the thinnest string on the 3rd fret. So this is thumb on the thickest string because the bass note has changed for G. The bass note is always the first string you strum in a chord. Then you're going to skip your thumb down to the D, and then middle finger on the open B, then index finger on the open G, thumb on D, index. So far we've got C, G. But notice how it's always the same strings that I'm picking after I've done the first one. So the bass note changes from here to here, but the other fingers stay the same. Next chord is an A minor. Open A string, thumb on D, and middle, index, thumb on D, index. You can see it's the same as what we did for the C chord. And finally, the F major 7. So that's 3rd fret on the D string, middle finger on 2nd fret on the G, and first index finger on 1st fret on the B. This, the bass note, is here. This is your F. If you're doing the full bar F, I'll show you in just a moment, but this is your first note. Thumb here, index, middle, index, thumb on D, index. You do have to return to your bass note on this. And if you're doing the full bar, it's the same thing, but the bass note is the thickest string here. Okay, so let's just put all that together. C, G, A minor, F. And I recommend you do that round in a circle, making sure for clean notes and accurate rhythm. Good, let's move on to pattern number 2. I call this the classic rolling pattern, used a lot in ballads. So this is what we've got for this. Okay, so let's start once again with our C chord. It's always the same order of chords with this. And we're going to go thumb on the A string, because the bass note is always the same with all of these patterns. Then index, middle, index. Hopefully you've got that. Then ring, index, middle, index. So that's thumb, index, middle, index, onto the G, the thumb plays the thickest string, but everything else is the same. Thumb, index, middle, index, ring, index, middle, index. Really important to get that ring for that lovely bright G octave note there. Then the A minor, thumb is on the A string, same picking pattern. And then the full bar F would be thicker string. A real good test with your bar chord strength and how clean your F bar chord is whether this sounds clean rather than, you know, muted notes there, okay? Or you can do it with the F major 7. So that's thumb on the D string, then the same. Thumb, index, middle, index, ring, index, middle, index. And let's put that all together. C, G, A minor, and F. And then you do that round in a circle as well. Good. Pattern number 3. Now, arguably one of the most overused patterns in folk. You know, it's a big, big deal in a lot of folk guitar, and this is called the Travis pattern, okay? Travis picking pattern. So it has this really lovely percussive feel to it, and it's got these pinches, which I'll break down for you right now. So going back to our C chord, this pattern is thumb on the A string and middle finger on the B string. And we're going to pull those two together. That's called a pinch. So we're going to pinch, then thumb's going to go to D, then index going to go on G. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and then thumb again back on A, then middle, and then thumb on D. So that's pinch, thumb on D, index, thumb on A, middle, thumb on D. So the thing to understand about this pattern is that the thumb alternates like this. It goes. You can hear it's doing these bass notes. Okay, so that is that keeping the bass note dung dung. That is the cornerstone of Travis picking. Moving into the G chord next. Okay, once again, the pinch can be your choosing this, but I like to pinch the thickest string. Obviously, we do need to use the bass note of the G and the open B string. But you could go, or you could do a big pinch of 4 fingers. So let's look at that picking pattern again. So it's pinching, thumb and middle, thumb on D, index, thumb on A, middle, index, okay? Moving into A minor, pinching the A string and the B string, thumb on D, index, thumb on A, middle, index. Now it could be, if you wanted to, thumb on the D afterwards, which is a little bit more in keeping with Travis, but I like on this one to use my index finger on the G. And finally for the F major 7. Now for this one, it is very difficult to do it without the full bar because it's really nice to have that thickest string. If you do find it difficult to do the full bar, then you can try bringing your thumb over to the thickest string on the first fret like this, or you can have a go at the full bar. So we're pinching the thumb on the thickest string and the B string, then moving thumb down to the D, index, thumb, middle. Okay, so I'll do that. So it's pinch, thumb on D, index, thumb on thickest, middle, index. And to put all that together. Okay, so that gives you 3 picking patterns to memorize. I really, really hope that's been useful. If you want to grab a PDF of those patterns, then you can join the student area at LGR Premium. It's completely for free. Just text name and email address. I've left a link in the video now, and there's a link in the video description. Keep on playing.